Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really digging into a whole collection of ideas, all focused on helping you build a more, let's say, effective and fulfilling life.
Yeah, the material we're drawing from is quite broad. It touches on, well, almost everything: mindset, emotions, health, productivity.
Career, finances, relationships, it's a real 360-degree view.
Exactly. And our mission today really is to pull out the most practical, actionable nuggets from all of this.
So you can actually use these insights right away.
That's the idea. We want to give you clear steps, without making it feel like homework or just too much information.
Okay, sounds good. Where should we start? Maybe with personal growth and mindset.
Perfect. A big theme in the sources is that, well, real growth often comes from small, consistent steps, not massive overhauls.
Right, not trying to change everything overnight.
Precisely. The material talks a lot about the power of micro wins. So instead of a huge goal like get totally fit.
It can feel impossible sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. The suggestion is something much smaller, maybe like, okay, I'll work out for just 10 minutes 3 times this week.
Oh, okay. Manageable.
Very manageable. And those little successes, they build momentum. It's surprisingly effective.
I like that. It takes the pressure off. And tied into this is the idea of a growth mindset, isn't it?
Absolutely central. This is the belief, fundamentally, that your abilities, your intelligence, they aren't just fixed.
You're not just stuck with what you've got.
Right. It's the idea that you can develop these things through, dedication, hard work, learning.
Oh, challenges become different.
Completely different. Instead of seeing a failure as like proof you can't do it, you see it as an opportunity, a chance to learn something. It really opens doors.
That shift in perspective seems huge.
Yeah.
Okay, let's pivot slightly to emotional intelligence. This is more than just being nice, right?
Oh, much more. It's really about first understanding and managing your own emotions, and then also understanding and maybe influencing the emotions of others.
How do you work on that first part, the
Okay.
self-awareness?
Well, one very practical technique mentioned is journaling, but in a specific way.
Not just writing down what happened.
No, it's more reflective. Like when something upsets you, you write down your reaction, but then you analyze it. What specifically triggered you? What patterns do you notice in how you respond?
Digging a bit deeper.
Yeah, identifying those personal triggers and sort of emotional habits.
And this self-awareness, this EQ, it helps everywhere, I imagine.
Totally. Work situations, definitely. Relationships, absolutely. Even just the way you talk to yourself, your internal dialogue.
It lets you respond more consciously, maybe, instead of just reacting.
That's a great way to put it. More intention, less impulse. It leads to, well, healthier interactions all around.
Makes sense. Now, what about mental health and mindfulness? The sources emphasize this as crucial, right? Not just a nice to have.
Absolutely fundamental. And the good news is it doesn't have to take up huge amounts of time.
So no need for hour-long meditations necessarily.
Not at all. The sources point to really accessible practices, like even just a 3-minute breathing break, just stopping, focusing on your breath for, 3 minutes.
And that actually makes a difference.
It can, surprisingly. It's a small anchor in the day, a moment of presence that can really shift your mood or lower stress.
It's important to remember, I think, that mental health is just as vital as physical health.
Definitely. And seeking support, whether it's therapy or maybe joining a group, that's not weakness. It's actually a sign of strength, of taking proactive care.
Yeah, a really important reminder.
So maybe a quick thought for you listening. What's one tiny way you could add just a moment of mindfulness to your day this week? Could be super simple.
Good question. Okay, let's move to physical health, the foundation for so much else.
You got it. The core idea here is pretty straightforward. Your physical well-being fuels everything else. It gives you the energy you need.
And what are the key habits the sources point to?
The fundamentals, really. Getting enough sleep, aiming for that 7 to 8 hour range most nights.
Easier said than done sometimes.
True. But crucial. Also, staying hydrated, just drinking enough water. And regular movement. Doesn't have to be the gym, just moving your body daily.
And there's that strong link between body and mind, isn't there?
Absolutely undeniable. Taking care of your body directly impacts your mental clarity, your mood, your ability to handle stress.
So looking after your physical health helps your brain work better.
Exactly. It's interconnected. Feeling better physically often gives you that boost, that extra motivation for other things too. It can create a positive cycle.
Okay, let's talk productivity and focus. Are these things you can actually train?
Yes, definitely. The sources frame focus as a skill you can develop, and there are specific techniques to help.
Like the Pomodoro technique, I've heard of that.
That's a popular one highlighted, yeah. Simple concept. Work intently for, say, 25 minutes.
Uh-huh.
Then take a mandatory short break, maybe 5 minutes.
Takes you from burning out.
Exactly. Helps maintain sharpness, prevents that mental fatigue. Those short breaks really refresh you.
I find that helps me reset. What about organizing your time?
Time blocking is another method discussed. Basically, you schedule blocks of time directly into your calendar for specific tasks.
So you're treating your tasks like appointments.
Pretty much. It forces you to prioritize. You allocate time for what's important, making it less likely you'll get, pulled off track by distractions.
Right, being intentional with your time. Makes sense. How about career and skills? The world changes so fast.
Yeah, continuous learning is presented as pretty essential now, not just a bonus, but vital for staying relevant.
So how do you approach that without feeling like you need another degree every year?
The source material suggests a really manageable approach. Aim to learn just one new thing each month.
One thing. That sounds doable.
Right. Could be a short online course, reading a relevant book, even listening to discussions like this one on a specific topic. Small, consistent learning.
I like that. And what's this concept of skill stacking?
Yeah, that's interesting. It's not just about collecting random skills. It's about combining different skills strategically.
How so?
Well, maybe you combine, say, strong writing skills with a good understanding of tech or data. That combination makes you more valuable than just having one or the other.
So the sum is greater than the parts.
Kind of, yeah. It creates a unique advantage in the job market. Okay.
Something to think about.
So maybe ask yourself, what couple of skills could you develop and combine to make your profile more impactful?
Good reflective question.
Okay.
Let's touch on financial literacy. Can be a bit intimidating for some.
It can be, but the core message here is that even a basic understanding makes a huge difference to your stress levels and overall well-being.
It's not about becoming a Wall Street expert.
Not at all. It's about essential first steps, like tracking your spending, just knowing where the money actually goes.
Seeing it laid out.
Exactly. Then maybe creating a simple budget based on that. Doesn't have to be complicated. And understanding the basics of compound interest, how your money can grow over time.
Starting small again seems key here.
Absolutely. Small, manageable steps to build that foundation and reduce financial anxiety.
Empowering yourself with that knowledge. Okay, finally, communication and relationships. Pretty central to a good life, wouldn't you say?
Foundational, really. And the sources emphasize key skills here. Things like active listening.
Which means really paying attention, not just waiting to talk.
Precisely. Trying to genuinely understand the other person. Also, setting clear boundaries respectfully, of course.
And just being honest in your communication.
Honest and open communication, yeah. These might sound basic, but mastering them, it can honestly transform your relationships, personal and professional.
It probably helps your own well-being, too, not just the relationship itself.
Definitely. Good communication skills often boost your own sense of self-worth and emotional stability.
So pulling it all together, this whole self-improvement thing, it's not really a destination, is it?
No, not at all. The sources really frame it as a continuous journey. It's personal, it's ongoing, and progress happens bit by bit across all these linked areas.
Incremental steps.
Exactly. So our call to action for you listening this week is pretty straightforward.
Just pick one thing.
Just one area we talked about. Maybe it's that tiny exercise goal, or trying that 3-minute breathing pause, or even just tracking your spending for one day. Pick one and take one concrete step.
One small action this week.
Yep. And a final thought to leave you with.
Okay.
Think about all these areas: mindset, health, focus, relationships, finances. Which one area, if you made even a small improvement in it right now, do you feel would create the biggest positive ripple effect in your life overall?
That's interesting. Where would the smallest change make the biggest wave?
Exactly. Sometimes the most impactful starting point isn't the most obvious one. Something to ponder.